By popular request, I have put together my Trello template. It took a little bit of time because I had to go through and delete customer information and kind of change all the names to protect the innocent. So I'm going to walk you through it briefly. And I have made this board public, so I'll share the link. So that way, if anybody wants to use it, you are more than welcome to do that. And as I'm going through, if I find anything else that's private, I'll probably be deleting that. So this particular board was mostly used by my assistants and processing team. And so I was not in here that much, but we did meet as a team and we would go over the goals for the week. So in terms of goals for the week, I would identify, well, as a team, we would identify what we needed to get into underwriting that week, what loans needed to be, approved or conditions we were working on. And then if we had anybody that was looking to sign, fund, or record, we had them on this list. So these are kind of generic names that on here. And then post closing, these were anybody that if we had anything to do after the loan was closed, we had that kind of checklist. So these were goals for the week that we went over as a team. We know for the week what our objectives are. So after that, I really didn't, as the loan officer, didn't really need to check in with this Trello board any further than that. Leads workflow, I'm not sure exactly what this was used for, but I just left it here. All right, so then we have some post-closing information emails. So these were people where these were some things that we were doing after the loan had closed. So we had like a checklist of things that needed to be done. So we have several examples there. Flowify, this was the system that we used to collect loan documents. So it might be called, and I can even change it here. People might call it like point of sale, point of sale docs. So if you're collecting documents from people up front, so for example, so this person, that was working in here, they put they put examples here of checklists. Okay. And then they had, so we even look at this, we even have like a tester one. But we have, these are just different cards for different clients and a checklist as we were going. See, there's different docs pending. Then once all the documents were in, so I'm going to change this to point of sale. All docs are in. And what's great about these is you could just move these over. So if Jessica Rodriguez has all her documents in, then she moves over here to all documents are in. Okay, and you can move people back and forth. Okay. So that's what's great about Trello is it has that Kanban thing. Tressa review completed. There were circumstances where, as we were just, first starting out, loan officer, assistant, processor, getting to know me, I'm getting to know how they work. There are certain things that they wanted me to review. So they would send it to me and say, okay, Tressa, please review, please structure the loan, etc. So if they had all their documents in, they would send it to me for a review, and then they could put it over here. Tressa reviewed everything. It was all docs are in. Tressa reviewed everything, so now she's completed her review. Or could be if you're working with the loan officer, you could say, "Hey, Tressa, once all the docs are in, every day, can you go into the all docs in column in our Trello board? Please review those files to make sure that we are good to go. We are good to get started. And then once you're done, please put it into the Tressa review completed column. That way, the assistant or the processor, they know to pull things from this column and start to get things started. Hey, started. So they can move on to the next thing. And each one of these has it's the same board all along. I mean, it's the same card. They call it a card. So this is the same checklist. The checklist doesn't update as you move it through the process. This is a mega checklist that my team put together of what they could possibly need on every single transaction. So they have a mega checklist. So they start it at the very beginning, and then that same name kind of moves through, and they may add, as you can see, different colors here. So they may add which lender it's going to go to, which loan officer, because we had several loan officers, and whether it was a refinance, purchase, home equity line, etc. That one is, I'm trying to show a different example. So here's another example one where, okay, this is going to this lender, Tressa Refinance. Yeah, Loan Depot, Tressa Refinance. You would move it through the system with the same card. You're not going to update the checklist unless you want to do that. But it would go into started, registration, submission. You don't have to have all these different milestones. That's you as a team, you as an assistant, you as a processor. You can certainly do that once you've submitted something to underwriting. To me, submission and underwriting is kind of the same, so I don't know why there's these two different things. But if you want to say, okay, it's in underwriting, we're working on submission, now it's fully in underwriting. Once it gets out of underwriting, it goes into conditional loan approval, so you can move those all around. Same thing, CD's been ordered. This has a different color on it. Remin, Tressa, Refinance. So if you've ordered the CD and then you're waiting, if you've resubmitted to the underwriter, you're waiting for CTC. Then once you get CTC, you can put it over here. Then docs are ordered. Here's another one. Home Point, Tressa Refinance, etc. Once things are closed, then you can put, we used to put the most recent month here. So if November and then December, and then once you started closing, oh, here we go, add another list. Goodness gracious. Okay, closed January. Okay, so once you have that, then we would move this over, this whole thing. Move this over to December. There we go. Okay, so then you can start putting your January closings right there. December, November. We have a bunch of templates here. So if it was a purchase in a condo, refinance in a condo, this is a purchase single family house, refinance single family house, your CD doc request. So this has all the things that you need to request the closing disclosure. This was the screening process for our POS, point of sale, closing timeline checklist. So template email in there. Suspended are loans so you can't yet get approval. So there's something, missing on the file, or we may have a problem. So it is suspended. So that sits kind of there until we figure out what to do with it. And then you can add, more lists if you want more lists. But this is what we used. You can move things through the system. We set it up so that the whole team had access to this board, so people could go in and work on it throughout the day. And then at the start of each week, we would establish our goals for the week. So that way, as the loan officer, I kind of handed off, these are the goals for the week. Please let me know if there's anything I need to do. And then I would, if they pinged me, they kind of usually would send me an email or maybe a chat message saying, Tressa, please check the all docs in, column. Then I would check that. Now you may be wondering too why we have the post-closing information up front. And that's just because we didn't want things to get lost. When you have active loans where people are calling in, they want their refinance, they want their purchase transaction. These usually are at the forefront of your mind or your emails anyway. Whereas post-closing, nobody's usually calling you. The customer's not calling you saying, hey, I would like, my post-closing package. We just want to make sure that we were getting that out to customers. Their first payment letter and any legal documents they might need to have on record. Make sure that we are touching base with them after the loan closes. So, and then sometimes issues come up too. So we just wanted to make sure that was sort of at the forefront of this whole workflow so that we didn't miss anything. And then, we have our templates towards the end of the line, as well as loans that have closed. So hopefully this is helpful to you, and reach out if you have any questions. I did make this board public so that you could use this template. You may want to copy it so that you can have your own private board. So if you use this board, I would make a copy of it, set it to private on your own Trello account, and that way you can start to put your own client information in there.